The Nigerian Entrepreneurship Summit and Honours hosted its 2016 edition focusing on the theme Economic Recession and Young Entrepreneurs. In her opening remarks, Ndidi Obioha, founder Enthis Events, shared the essence of the forum and the value it will create for entrepreneurs across the country.
Next. I remember when Mr. Meko Goju, the founder of this very laudable initiative, came to me and said he wanted my company to handle the planning and coordinating of this event. I thought it was a very, very welcoming initiative because this is where the world is going. So encouraging the young ones and everybody to become entrepreneurs. And we're very honored and liked the fact that we would be able to put in our own quota. I used to be what we call the 9-to-5, do the 9-to-5 thing. And I remember when I took that bold step to say to myself, you know what, I'm done. I want to start up my own thing. I want to bring my creativity to bear. And really and truly, that's what being an entrepreneur is about. It's about taking that bold step, taking that risk. And it is something that we all have in us and we can all do. What I say is dreamers can never be tamed. So dream it, do it.
Panelists discussed strategies for surviving and growing businesses in the midst of the economic recession in Nigeria.
Now, I see recessions as a new economy. It's not something to fall back on and throw your hands up in the air and be scared and worried. Don't allow your emotions to take over what is in front of you. I believe that there's opportunity in chaos. And from the moment you take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of you, you will be able to push ahead and forge ahead and move forward. Do you have to re-strategize in this economy? Absolutely. Do you have to look at things from a different angle? Do you have to sit with your management team and restructure? Absolutely. I wrote down a 5-point strategy list for the people that would like to take notes. So you have to create a risk development plan first. It will allow you to assess how things are currently, how things were, and what you should not be doing anymore. So you will cut your expenses, cut your coat according to your size. So if you were eating, for example, 3 times a day, I learned something in Nigeria, there's something called 010-101, right? So you cut your coat according to the current situation that you find yourself in. Then you have to cross-train your employees. So if your employees were just focusing on one task and you had like 10 tasks and 10 employees according to the tasks, you have to probably cut it down to half or 30%, which means one employee should be able to fulfill more than just one task, probably 3 tasks at the same time. You're also then empowering them more, give them more responsibility, but you also have to invest in them so that they actually feel more, they understand their tasks ahead. And it should not take 3 times the time. It should still take the same time period that it would take for 3 people to do that particular job. So you just have to get them up to speed. And number 4 would be focus on your clients and your customers. Just because there's a recession does not mean you should cut on quality. Your quality should not even be a lot more significant because you have to stand out of the crowd and you need to be able to allow people to identify you with the quality you present, what you have, and all that stuff. So people need to remember you. And don't cut your prices just because there's a recession. Recessions come and go. It's like giving birth and giving birth over and over again. It's a never-ending cycle.
The good news is that countries have gone into recession and survived it. But the bad news is that we will still see several more quarters. So it is the businesses who are willing to do the right things that will survive the tough times while it lasts. In good times, in bad times, in hard times, people will always require either to eat or to put a roof over their heads. Even the government in a recession says that they have to spend their way out. And one of the key areas to spend money is to meet infrastructure deficits. So they will repair our roads, they will build new roads, and aggregates will be required to do that. So I found that as a niche, the message is that you should identify a niche that is recession-proof. If you're in the food business, whether there's recession or not, people will eat. If you're in the healthcare business, people will fall ill, and somehow somebody will need to work hard to get them well. So having identified the niche of providing services in terms of construction materials, the challenge is to convince those financial institutions who have the resources and are looking for good opportunities to spend their money to invest in you as a way of contributing your quota in a sector that is relevant at the time.
One of the things that, about 4 or 5 things that you need to do if you're already running a business and you are into a recession. First, what is a recession? Practically speaking, during recession, what happens? During recession, you have reduction in revenues because some of your sales are not happening. People have less money to spend. You have some of your customers unable to pay for the goods you sold them. You have the pressure of meeting salary and your other obligations. And if you're not careful, you can go out of business. So our task here is to give you some tips on how to manage these practical situations. One of the things that you should do is to ensure that the service you're providing actually meets a need. Because during recession, one of the things people cut off are the luxuries immediately. So you have to understand that the service you're providing meets a need that is a key need for your customers. The second thing is that you have to understand the price point. In other words, in a growing economy with a lot of surpluses, people pay without thinking twice about the price. During a recession, people are more sensitive to the price. So you have to understand that the price you are offering your customers are a price that gives the value that you're actually offering. There is very little surplus. The third thing you must understand is your service, like my fellow discussant said, your service must stay the same or improve. Because when people are beginning to check for value, they only go for products that are superior or products that give them a little bit more value than what they are paying. So your service must equal the quality you've been given or even improve. The other point is you must keep in contact with your customer. You must love your customer because your customers are the source of your revenue. So you have to understand where the customer is. You have to keep in constant communication with your customers. Never lose a customer. It's more difficult to make a new customer in a recession. So if you have your list of customers, make sure you know what they are doing, what they need, what they want, and that you don't lose a single one of them.
Mrs. Kofo Akingube, founder and CEO Secure ID, lauds the NESH initiative, particularly the opportunity of aiding economic diversification through entrepreneurship.
I think it's a very good program. It's also been the issue about exporting non-oil products is something that has been spoken about at this event. We have entrepreneurs and very young people from school here. And for the very young ones, it begins to shape their minds into them knowing that there is a talent in them and they can become game changers in the future.
With the recession in Nigeria, innovation remains the way forward for businesses and enterprises to leverage and navigate through the challenging season.